We've got new content in NHL 24. This video is going to help you try and figure out how it works. To be honest, this is becoming harder and harder. Anyways, let's get after it. Let's start off with the new Star of the Month, which I think is replacing Team of the Week, but it's called Star of the Month. Ugh. Anyways, let's take a look at all the new cards. We'll start off with the 84 Jesper Bratt from the New Jersey Devils, 5'10", 175 with playmaking forward, and make it snappy. Now, his skating is actually half decent. 88 speed, acceleration, and agility, if you can get playmaking forward activated, and his shot is in the mid-80s. Hand stats are all in the high 80s, low 90s. This, for all intents and purposes, is actually a half-decent winger card early on in the game. However, Jack Eichel, well, this card is fantastic. Jack Eichel cards always play better than their stats indicate. I've mentioned it a number of times, but he does have a custom stride, one of 5 players. Someone else asked in the comments who the other 5 players were, or 4. It would be McKinnon, McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Andrei Svechnikov, and Jack Eichel. Again, I have no idea why. That being said, he's got playmaking forward and agile dangler boost, and silver unstoppable force at 6'2", 207. Make it snappy. It has been so hit or miss, it really doesn't look like it does anything. But nonetheless, he's got 90 speed, 89 acceleration, can get up to +5 agility with synergies, making it at 91. High 80s on his shot, hand stats all above 90s with synergies, and he's half decent on the draws at 81. Jack Eichel cards are fantastic, and this one is no different. Then we've got the 84 Patrick Laine, 6'5", 205 with sniper forward, making his shot pretty lethal, and silver 1T. I'm a lot more interested in putting silver 1T on my forwards as opposed to gold, just because of the cost, and I've mentioned this a number of times, that 1T is just a lot more difficult to set up with a specific player because you need that scenario. That's why I like it on my defensemen, because it's always going to be open if someone isn't playing, protect the point. 86 speed at 6'5", 205 is great at launch. He is a little bit slower in agility and acceleration, but that being said, his size is phenomenal, and he's got a lethal shot. Now, I'll touch on these throughout the year, but there are some European cards, and a lot of these are statted with some crazy attributes that I'll point out in just a little bit. But the reason is because they are so low rated that some of their stats are a lot higher on their base cards. So if they have a silver card, for example, that when they receive an update like Star of the Month, this Jerry Turkalainen, who's 5'7", 159, brutal size, but two-way forward, he's got 86 speed, 86 acceleration, and 95 agility with the synergy activated. Again, some of these attributes are pretty crazy on these cards, which can make them kind of interesting early on. His shot power is also 96 and 94, one of the highest in the game. Hand stats are pretty low. His body checking is 85, and his face-off rating can up to 88 with two-way forward, which is one of the more common synergies. Again, kind of a sneaky, fun-looking card that a lot of people might overlook because he's not an NHLer. We've also got the 79 overall Kalle Kasila, 5'10", 185 with playmaking forward, 86 speed, 86 acceleration, can get up to 87 agility. Everything else is pretty rough on this card. To be honest, I will go over all these other cards. I'll show them on screen, but just for the record, I wouldn't do anything with them other than trade them in. Just really nothing here, unless you're a fan of the player. We've got Rudolph Balcers, former San Jose Shark. Again, nothing really crazy here. Jax Dubois, 6'4", 205, great size, but 82 speed and acceleration. We've also got Justin Poirier, 5'8", 190 with sniper forward. Andre Becker, 6'1", 179. Lucas Radil, 6'4", 205. These guys are huge. But again, the skating is just unusable. Stephen Orr, I'm not saying that right, but nonetheless. Gregory McLeod, and that'll round out the forwards. On defense, we've got the Evan Bouchard from the Edmonton Oilers with offensive defenseman, which gets his shot above 90 in terms of power. 84 speed, 83 acceleration is pretty low, even though he is 6'3", 194. His body checking's only 81, but his size should more than make up for that. Defensive awareness at 84. Unless you're an Oilers fan, this is probably an avoid for me. I do like the sneaky 1T, so if you can get him for like his base, cost for whatever 83s are going for, it might be half decent. Then we've got Connor Timmins from the Toronto Maple Leafs with two-way defenseman, 86 speed, 85 acceleration, and 84 defensive awareness with two-way defenseman activated. And again, one of the more common synergies. At 6'2", 202, this is actually an interesting card for anyone that is still using, base golds and things like that. Kind of a sneaky decent one here. Nicholas Brouillard with offensive defenseman, 5'10", 150, 73 body check. He does have 87 speed and acceleration, but his endurance is 79, his balance is 78. A small gust of wind would knock him off the puck. Samuel Ernie, who gets a play of the year, does have skilled up, but you're going to have to plant him behind the net because, well, he's just simply not moving anywhere with that skating. Jonathan Blum is up next with offensive defenseman. Again, this is an avoid. And then lastly, we've got Tim Theocardis, 6'1", 183. Again, just another avoid. Lastly, we've got the 78 overall Jonas Johansson, who is now replacing Andrei Vasilevsky. He's got the speed boost synergy, which isn't half bad. 6'5", 220, 61 aggression. His stats are pretty low, but as we've seen over the last decade, Ben Bishop with a 70 overall card is fantastic. Again, could be another cheap one that you could grab. And then Michael Simpson from the London Knights, and I can't help but think I'm getting trolled as an Ice Dog fan because he earned this for dominating my Ice Dogs in back-to-back games. Okay, now I'm going to try and walk through this stuff individually. So the Star of the Month players can be acquired now individually without having to just pack them or buy them in the store. The Star of the Month sets are now here, and as you will see, there is a September Star of the Month set path, and you can acquire every single Star of the Month card in here. This is a huge, huge plus. I love this. The fact that we can actually earn cards instead of having to wait and see if they are in the auction house. Now, the cost for each of these is not worth it. In all honesty, almost none of them are going to be worth the actual cost here. For example, you will have to cash in 22 Star of the Month collectibles. To earn the Star of the Month collectibles, you go to the Star of the Month collectible sets, and you will see here that it is much like all the other collectibles. You can trade in various overall amounts to get a Star of the Month collectible. Right now, it's 382 overall and above cards, and you will get one. Now, 1,800 looks to be about the cost for each 82 overall and above card, which would run you 5,400 per collectible. At 5,400 per collectible, you are looking at 118,800 for the 86 overall Jack Eichel. That is not worth it, regardless of how good that card is. For Jesper Bratt, you're looking at 37,800, and Patrick Laine, the same amount. It's a little bit closer, but I still wouldn't do that for that price. Something else to note is that you can do a 1-for-1 Star of the Month collectible trade-in for any of the headliner event collectibles you have. I simply don't know how you guys are supposed to casually play this game and understand all of this with 50 different collectibles. So I apologize, I'm trying my best. This is a decent value because the only use of headliner collectibles currently is to make the 82 overall version of Brooks Orpik or Alesh Hemsky, and really none of them are great cards in terms of the price. So you could use your collectibles to help reduce the cost of a Star of the Month player, but still, it's not going to reduce the cost enough, in my opinion. What we really need to do is talk about some of the new exclusive cards to different modes. Now, obviously, if you were watching the last couple of days, you realize that Rivals rewards were significantly reduced to prior years with the introduction of the collectible. So now in Rivals, you will earn gold collectibles based on whatever division that you were placed in and however high of rank that you get to. It's nowhere near the value that we had prior, even though it does allow us technically to have some customizable rewards to an extent, which I do think is a cool feature. But don't make it less value than what we had prior. That's just dumb. Well, the same thing also happened in Squad Battles. So Squad Battles rewards have been reduced, and you will now receive silver collectibles. That little balloon pack that you see does represent silver or Squad Battle collectibles. I can confirm that Elite 1 will net you 15 silver collectibles, and I'll show you what that means in a bit. So for Elite 1, just for context, essentially you lose 2 Elite packs that you would have gotten and instead replaced with 15 silver collectibles. Now, why that's important is if you go to mode sets and then the Squad Battles sets, you will see that you can trade in these silver collectibles for various things. So let's assume that you get 15. Well, the only one that you can really get close to is a mega pack, which, while not a bad pack in NHL 24, simply because you get so many gold cards and low gold cards are great currency, it's still, in terms of coin values, about 15,000 coins less than what EA deems the packs in the store in terms of the 2 elite packs that you are now no longer getting. However, what they did do is allow us to earn some cards via playing Squad Battles for a different price. So if you were to get Elite 1 and you got 15 silver collectibles, you could, for 8, get the Star of the Month Patrick Laine, which I actually kind of enjoy. That's a cool idea. The value still isn't there in my opinion, but it's not terribly far off. So this could be viewed as a positive, but still, nonetheless, it should be collectibles on top of the rewards that we got prior. The game modes did not improve. That's the big thing to remember here. The game, in terms of the cycle, all of it, has not gotten better, which means that we're not enjoying it anymore. It's what we have to play, and obviously we're all addicted to hockey and the video game. That being said, you can't give us less rewards for making us play the exact same thing. While gameplay overall is improved, the actual modes themselves are the same we have had for 4 video games in a row. Now, there are 2 cards that are pretty interesting, and it's our first mode exclusive cards. So, the new 83 Jaromir Jagr and 86 Nikita Kucherov, they can only be acquired via the Rivals sets. So, the Jaromir Jagr was Sniper Forward activated. He's 6'3", 230, 87 speed, 86 acceleration. At 80 agility, it turns like a boat, but he's got a decent shot, and he's not going to get knocked off the puck at all. This could be a really fun card. I know a lot of people have been talking about his base icon card as well, and it being pretty effective. So this is a half-decent card. On top of that, I actually really like this Nikita Kucherov card, highlighting his big one-timer goal in the season opener against Nashville. He gets gold 1T and silver elite edges. Again, I think that the cost of 6 for a forward is a little much because you have to get him in a specific spot, which won't happen nearly as much as a defenseman. However, he gets silver elite edges as well. His shot's great. Speed's at 90, acceleration 91, and his hand stats are all in the mid-90s. Like, this is actually a pretty nasty card. How you acquire them is in the mode sets. Again, if you go over to Rivals sets, you will see that there's two new ones, the 83 headliner Jaromir Jagr and the 86 headliner Nikita Kucherov. Now, if you get Ultimate in Division 2, you get 12 collectibles, and again, not everyone can get there, obviously, but for 3 of these collectibles, the alternative in terms of the pack that you could get with it, well, there isn't one. So you could get a guaranteed Jaromir Jagr for 3 collectibles, which isn't half bad. 19 is quite a bit because you can get some packs, like you could essentially get a Jumbo Elite Players pack, which is just below the Ultimate pack. One of the best packs in the game. It's 18, 80 and above player cards. Or you could get this 86 overall Nikita Kucherov. And honestly, because there isn't 83, 84, 85, or 86 overall trade-ins to make collectibles like there was in prior games and which desperately needs to come back, they really don't have anywhere near what value that they did in the past. So you're probably better off just taking this 86 overall Nikita Kucherov. So if you can save your Rivals rewards for 2 weeks, you can get yourself a pretty impact winger. Now, I got asked a ton about which rewards you should take for Rivals because you can actually choose what rewards you want for your Rivals rewards every Wednesday at 5 p.m. You can take Tradable, which, as you can see here, for example, you get Ultimate Pack, Mega Pack, and 12 gold collectibles if you were able to hit Ultimate in Division 2. Or you can take double the packs if you were to take Untradeable. Now, normally, I would always recommend Untradeable simply because every card had a lot more value. In NHL 24, they went back 3 years and eliminated the great changes in terms of how the economy and cards were held up. For example, power-up collectibles are what's used to actually upgrade all of the Master Set player cards now. This is what I'm saying, is that we can't make one with anything above 82 overalls, which effectively crushes 83, 84, 85 overall cards, which is why they're going for so much lower than they did in the past games. Now, I would be blown away if EA does not add in 83 and above sets. Like I said, it effectively undoes all of the great changes that the last 2 years in this particular thing for Hockey Ultimate Team. With that being said, it's going to depend on what your goals are and how you play. If you are trying to acquire team builder cards, it is probably better off to take Untradeable. The odds of you pulling anything above 82 are not high, and you will get as many gold cards as you can, especially in the Mega Players Pack, so that you can actually start working towards team builders. On top of that, a Mega Players Pack currently gives you almost enough gold cards to make an icon. So if you are working towards Mario or Gretzky, you can almost get 2 icons out of those 2 packs alone. You do that every week for 10 weeks, and you've almost got them. But because every gold card that's, under 82 is still going for 1,000 coins, taking Tradable if you have no interest and you just want to build a team of, whether it be a theme team or you just want to have competitively the best cards so you don't really need to go out and make all these sets or you're not chasing anything specific, taking Tradable is probably the play because it will net you a ton of coins for you to go out and buy whatever you want. But again, it's going to depend on, again, like I said, what your goals are. Guys, content this year has been an absolute mess. Gameplay, I actually think, is in a decent spot. So I'm going to do my best to continually try and give you the most up-to-date info on what's going on. If you have any questions about anything else and you want a live response, just come hit me up on Twitch. I stream every single day throughout the afternoon, all the way up until the content drop at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I'd be happy to help answer your questions live. I hope this video helped a little bit, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.